So I went and did a thing, and well, I made my very own Retromania Wrestling iiRcade cabinet.
Showing off his veteran skill set. What guts, what fun!
Now, if you're at all familiar with iiRcade's product, you're probably scratching your head and wondering why I would even bother doing something like this, because isn't there already an official Retromania Wrestling iiRcade cabinet coming? And you're 100% right in that assumption. However, when I first started designing and working on this cabinet, the very moment I heard Retromania Wrestling was coming to the iiRcade, I knew I had to put something together, and that Retromania themed wrestling cabinet from iiRcade, well, it wasn't even announced yet. It didn't even exist as far as I knew. In the end though, it worked out great because I do like to put my own twist and spin on things, and doing this one-off cabinet specifically just for myself, well, it turned out great. I got to do things my way, didn't have to make any kind of accommodations for previous things. So basically what I did, I took my existing iiRcade Kickstarter Bartop, I got a custom skin designed from the fine folks over at iiRcade, and I'll go ahead and link everything down in the video description box below in case you want to check out their work. They did a great job designing the artwork for the sides of the bar top, the control panel up here by the speakers, and the graphics themselves were printed by Game On Graphics. But it didn't stop there because I wanted to put my personal favorite joysticks and buttons inside the iiRcade. Now, there's nothing wrong with the stock buttons, especially if you have one of those upgraded machines that have these Sanwa controls like the Dragon's Lair or the Double Dragon machine, but I have a personal preference when it comes to arcade buttons and joysticks, namely these joysticks right here, the iiReuro sticks, aka HAP joysticks. This is what I grew up with in the 90s. Fighting games, Street Fighter, all those type of games typically had these style joysticks in them, so I did the extra work. It's a lot of extra work. I definitely don't recommend it. Namely, number one, the moment you open up your control deck here, you void your warranty, so definitely don't risk it if you don't know what you're doing. But I had to open up the control deck, remove all the stock buttons and joysticks, put on new connectors that fit on my new buttons and my new joysticks because the terminal connections are bigger than the standard stock connections. So that was me crimping on a new terminal connector for every single wire, which is an absolute pain in the butt. I had to relocate the PCB, you know, the brains of the operation, so to speak, that was hidden within the control deck, and I had to move it to the back of the machine just so I had enough room for these longer joysticks and buttons to fit inside the control deck. But once that was all said and done, everything works beautifully, and I absolutely love the new controls. I went with all white. I could have went crazy and had multiple colors and everything, and I'd really thought about it. I mocked up several different designs and color schemes, and really I just decided white was the way to go. There's enough color going on with the Retromania Wrestling WrestleFest-esque, you know, artwork that I kind of decided to go with, and I love how it turned out, honestly. Now, the sides of the bar top itself, the graphic, I actually designed myself, and I had it printed at Game On Graphics. They again did an amazing job with the artwork. It's very easy to install. You just make sure you get yourself a felt squeegee and take your time and then slowly push out those air bubbles, and everything is hunky-dory. Installation of the graphics were absolute breeze, so I definitely will do business with Game On Graphics again when it comes to custom artwork. I went with the classic WrestleFest, you know, lasers, dotted line, colorway, and color scheme. And then for the logo, the Retromania Wrestling logo, I made sure it was outlined in orange just so it kind of tied in with the orange striping of the iiRcade cabinet itself. And then I purposely chose the icons here on the side of the cabinet. So we got the Road Warriors, aka the Legion of Doom, arguably the best tag team of all time in my opinion. And two gentlemen that I purposely wanted to kind of give kudos to that I'm a big fan of. We got Brian Myers and Matt Cardona, the two hosts of the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast, something that I listen to every week, enjoy thoroughly. Two other action figure and toy aficionados and fanboys like myself. So just wanted to tie in all my mini loves, you know, my wrestling, my video games, my toys, my action figures, and, you know, kind of symbolize it there on the side of the artwork. And then the front of the cabinet, I definitely did a little bit differently. Basically, I installed all the panels backwards on purpose. So my kick plate is actually now kind of a background image. Again, it has the same image of, you know, the Road Warriors as well as Matt Cardona and Brian Myers. There, the Retromania Wrestling logo. But now I've got a nice little shelf display as well as some, you know, LED lights in here installed to kind of give it that ambiance. But I've got the WWE Retro ring because, well, let's be honest, my Hasbro ring from childhood did not survive. I played with that thing until it fell apart. But I got the reissued, you know, big blue, so to speak, ring in here. I'm gonna get my figures in here, and it just really kind of ties into the overall nostalgic vibe of WrestleFest as well as Retromania Wrestling, which is an absolute fantastic game. And another one of the major reasons that I absolutely felt I needed to do this was, well, I'm in the game. So if you're looking for my cameo in the Retromania Wrestling game, all you have to do is go over to the Too Many Games arena, take a look at the top right hand corner, and then you'll see me and my buddies sitting there behind the guardrail watching the wrestling matches unfold. I'm sitting there rocking my Flash shirt just like in my logo, doing this in the air, and loving every minute of the matches I'm seeing. Definitely check out Retromania Wrestling. It's a fantastic game. I've been playing the absolute bejesus out of it on my Nintendo Switch. It's also out on Xbox, and it'll be out on PlayStation as well very soon. Not to mention, it'll be out on the iiRcade very soon, which I absolutely can't wait for. Now, as of the making of this video, it is not out yet, but it will be very soon and very shortly, and I absolutely can't wait to circle the wagons and play through it several times on my custom Retromania Wrestling iiRcade cabinet. Anyways, that does it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, share this video with your friends if you found the information helpful, and as always, thanks for watching, guys. Really means a lot.